I'm Michal Suchanek from Hope Studio Company and I want to introduce you our new product Hope Cardgame. The game is mainly designed for 2 players and takes you into the post-apocalyptic world where enemies stand against each other in a battle for control of remaining sources needed for survival. The goal is to receive 30 sources as first or beat the opponent to 0 sources. Let's take a closer look at the game content.
Here you can see all components contained in Hope Cardgame. The survival coin determines order of players at the start of each game. Player who has survival coin starts all the phases of the round. At the end of the round, player passes survival coin to second player. Source tokens represent specific players and inform about amount of sources that players currently have. Target tokens indicate enemy units which will be under attack in battle phase. You can choose up to 3 targets. Artifact tokens are used in custom game mode called Artifact Game. Units which carry artifacts gain special abilities that change their strength in game. Red blood glass counters characterize wounds or exerts of units taken in combat, and they lower their vitality. Hope Cardgame is characteristic by combination of card and board game, so let's take a closer look at the cards and the game board. Playing units and locations, movement of units and all fights take place on the game board. The game board is divided in 2 parts. First part contains source indicator that shows actual number of sources of both players. At the beginning of each game, both players start with 15 sources. The second part of game board is battleground, composed of 5 rows and 5 columns. The first row on both sides represents a base where units are played. On both sides, players will find spaces for draw deck and discard pile. Hope Cardgame can be also played in cooperative mode, 2 on 2, by combination of 2 game boards. You need a second copy of the game, or you can print the game board from our website. You can find all details about the game in the rules. You can download them from our website, where are also revised versions. You can find 3 types of cards in the game: units, locations, and events. Each card has its price for playing, name, and rarity described by the color of the radioactive symbol. Units are attending in combats. They attack or defend. Unit cards are labeled by their attack, defense, and number of lives. Ability of a particular unit is written under illustration. Passive abilities such as increased attack range or movement are written in red. Locations give players advantage thanks to their abilities described in the text here. For example, double attack value for currently selected unit. Locations usually help to control large areas on the game board, because in their surroundings you can play new units. Defense of specific location is symbolized by this value. The third type is event cards. Events are disposable effects which enter in different parts of the game, shown by this flag. For example, this card can be played only in combat phase. We will introduce you all phases of the game round later. Particular effects of event cards are written here. Unlike from units and locations, even cards aren't played on battleground, but after their play, they are sent to discard pile. The most important card type is unit, so let's look at units in detail. Decks are divided into 4 survivor races on Earth: aliens, mutants, bots, and humans. You can play them separately, which we recommend for beginners and less experienced players, or by creating your own original deck from all of races, adapted to preferred tactics of individual player. Each race is unique, it has different game mechanics and special abilities. Aliens are bloodthirsty race coming from the deepest underground. They are typical by attacking on their enemies in large number. They can surprise with quick attack and with their frightening appearance. The unique passive ability of aliens is Nightmare, through which they can reduce attack or defense of their opponent in each combat. There are many kinds of mutants, but they all are fighting together for one goal: infect their surroundings and opponents with radioactivity. Their passive ability Infect allows mutants to infect adjacent units of opponent and reduce their lives at the start of battle phase. Bots have acquired dynamic artificial intelligence in the Third World War and started to live their own lives. Thanks to a passive ability Sentinel, it's not possible to surround them from more than 2 sides, so that's why they can fight against huge superiority. For their enemies, they represent a threat with devastating weapons and great stamina. Humans were forced to survive hidden. They found refuge in anti-nuclear shelters and abandoned subway stations. Humans don't have any special abilities, and so they seem to be the weakest race. However, they can win combats by knowing terrain, tactics, and fighting from distance.
That's all about component description. In the next videos we will closely look at all 6 phases of each round and gameplays.